In my opinion, the African American male stereotype is being lazy, uneducated, poor, inadequate, and unfit for hard work. My reality is that despite these stereotypes, I feel that I can elevate myself and become a better citizen and help better represent the Black community.
The King's Compass is a year-long mentorship and development program for African American males in the city of Houston. We see this as an opportunity to really get Black males to engage with one another and engage with mentors in ways that, a lot of our students have never seen. We're going to be taking them on trips. We're going to be, giving them opportunities to really think critically about issues around race, poverty, as well as give them chances to really give back to the Houston community and show a different side of the African American male that you don't necessarily see on TV.
So basically, we are going to be your mentors for this year-long, we call them the seminar, because we're working towards a goal. And we talked about the goal being that of a trip to South Africa.
Having been there in 2008, I had the opportunity to kind of see what the culture was in South Africa, all the way from like skyscrapers and extravagant homes to shanty towns. And just the change in both of those scenarios was extremely eye-opening. So they can see on an international scope that there is a difference of how people live in the way that they can use their resources.
Obviously, we want to experience their native culture. We want to experience what's their problems over there in relation to our problems over here as Black men, as Black people in general.
So next year, all of our programs, we're working towards the goal of being prepared to really appreciate and enjoy this trip, but to also, in the meantime, enjoy each other and to have a good time learning each other and learning what it means to really be a Black young man in America and all that that comes with.
A lot of people were talking about, how is it acceptable for a guy to get away with killing an African American male. And I think that a lot of that stems from the stereotypes and the negative images that you see about African American males. And the King's Compass purpose is to kind of shatter those stereotypes. We want to show that Black men can be smart, they can be educated, they can be dedicated, committed, and they're not just, a thug or whatever you may see when you see on TV.
I would say the African American male stereotype is living paycheck to paycheck, unemployment, poverty, laziness.
It makes me feel that despite all of these successes and accomplishments and feats that Black men have had over the course of history, it makes me feel kind of inadequate, and that no matter what I say or do or whatever feat I accomplish, I'm not going to be seen as anything but a Black person.
First thought in my mind is to just make a change in the world, because with my words and with my actions, me going out doing community service and things, I feel like that there's some part for me to play. Just because I'm African American doesn't mean I can't make a change.
So I'm a Houston native, and I've attended the schools here in Houston where I've seen the population of the schools really shift to be predominantly African American and Hispanic. I also have noticed, as I've moved on to higher education and went ahead and attended colleges and universities, that same population isn't reflected, and we want them to know that an African American male can do more than just be a performer or an entertainer. African American male can also be a great thinker, a great philosopher, and can attend college and be successful just like our entertainers and athletes can as well.
So we developed the King's Compass around 4 tenets. The first one was exposure. Exposure is just our desire to make sure that our boys get a worldly view of societies, that they know that they're global citizens and they're not just members of their individual communities, or not just the Houston community, but of citizens of the United States and citizens of the world. And we want to expose them to things that are going to push them outside of their comfort zone. Our second tenet is social responsibility. And we know that it's our obligation on this earth as men to be servants of the community around us. So we want our boys to know that they're actually responsible for one another, and they're also responsible for their families and their communities around them. And that also leads into our third tenet, which is community. Our third tenet really stands for that bond that we share together, that we know that we don't individually operate in society, that we operate collectively, and that it does take a village to raise a child, but it also takes a village to make a village. And as African American men, we need to make sure that we're instilling in our boys that they are a part of the village as well. And so our last tenet, after exposure, after social responsibility and community, is self-concept. And that's the one that's one of the most dearest to us as men, is that before we can know anything about the world, we have to know ourselves. We have to know not only who we are, but where we come from and who we come from. Our family lineage, our racial and ethnic lineage, and also just us as our strengths and weaknesses. And those are our 4 tenets of the King's Compass.
So right now we have started out with 6 mentors and about 20 kids. We want to grow that. We see the King's Compass being something that students from every school in Houston can be a part of. African American students can connect with one another and build a network throughout the city of Houston and really lean on each other as they grow and develop. We see this as a unique opportunity to bridge gaps and bridge differences between, Sunnyside and Southwest, or Harlem Clark and Greens Point. We see this as a unique opportunity to really just build on the camaraderie and the values and the assets that all these guys bring to the table, and really make something powerful for the city of Houston.
We're made of the past. We represent the present. We are creating the future.
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 We are creating the future. We are creating the future.
If you want to help our organization, there are multiple ways that you can do it. Each one of our mentees is actually running their own fundraising campaign individually to get to South Africa, but you can also donate to them, as well as a GoFundMe account that we've set up through the King's Compass, and a Kickstarter account, not only to get our kids to South Africa, but also to fund the operating costs of the organization.
We are Brothers Keeper.